G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's episode, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user MountainCash5850, titled, Am I the asshole for refusing to share my vacation home with my in-laws for 6 months after they sold their house without consulting me? For some background, my husband, 35 male, and I, 33 female, have been married for 5 years. We own a beautiful vacation home on the beach that we built ourselves and use throughout the year. My in-laws, 60s, have always been welcome guests, visiting for a few weeks here and there, and contributing financially towards maintenance costs. Last month, my in-laws suddenly announced that they were selling their house to downsize and move into a tiny condo. Apparently, they've been secretly harboring this idea for months, never mentioned it to me or my husband. They plan to close on the sale in 2 weeks, and then move into our vacation home for 6 months while they figure things out. I was floored. This house is our sanctuary, not a retirement home extension. We use it frequently, have friends and families booked to visit throughout the year, and rely on the income that it generates during peak season. My in-laws, on the other hand, haven't lifted a finger on the property themselves and contributed only minimally. My husband, bless his sweet heart, is more understanding. He feels bad for his parents and believes that we can make it work. His in-laws, sensing my resistance, are now guilt-tripping us, claiming they have nowhere else to go and offering to pay significantly more than their usual contribution. Am I the asshole for refusing to let them move in? On one hand, I feel obligated to help family in need, but on the other, this feels like an outrageous imposition on our personal space and finances. In the comments, someone asks, what else have they done? And OP says, on our first marriage anniversary, they gifted us a chicken. We lived in an apartment at the time. On Valentine's Day the second year, they showed up to our house mid-afternoon because they thought that it would be special to spend the night with us. On the birth of our daughter, my mother-in-law refused to leave the delivery room until I had the nurse drag her out, and then she sobbed obnoxiously loud in the hallway outside the room. When COVID happened, she ordered us cases and cases of beans and other canned food to help prep for the apocalypse, and then sent us the bill. My mother-in-law demands all holidays with them and shows up unannounced to my parents, who are 4 hours away each holiday we spend with them, and forces us out of my bedroom, and we sleep on the pull-out sofa the whole visit. My mother-in-law demanded my husband go to her house last year to fix something on our daughter's birthday, and then kept him there till after the birthday party was over, and then had a birthday party she planned for my daughter at her house the next day. Our second daughter's birth was similar, where she sobbed and instantly FaceTimed my husband since I refused to let her into my delivery room. She sent a mixed nuts package to my parents at Christmas this last year, knowing my dad is deathly allergic to tree nuts. I could go on and on. In the comments, Living Highlights 7777 says, not the asshole. It is outrageous. You'd be well within your right to say no. But I'm curious, how is your relationship with them otherwise? How is your husband's relationship with them? What other options do they have? Again, you have every right to say no, and it would not make you the asshole, but is it worth the damage it could do? In other words, are you okay with whatever fallout occurs? If you end up deciding to let them stay, I would be very clear about how upset and disrespected you feel, and that if they ever pull anything like that again, you are gonna have major problems. OP replies, my relationship with them is strained because this is not the first time they have grossly overstepped. This has led to many fights between my husband and me. My husband sees no wrong in their behavior and thinks that we should just help them. Every time they're at the vacation home, they've commented on how much they love it and would love to live in a place like this at retirement. So I feel this was a very intentional move on their part. Not letting them stay will create conflict in my marriage, but I'm pretty positive that they will never leave if we let them move in. Quotes, every time they're at the vacation home, they've commented on how much they love it and would love to live in a place like this at retirement. Oh yeah, total red flag there. Make them sign a 6-month lease and pay rent and utilities. They are the assholes. Don't let them anywhere near residing there. They're planning on moving in and staying. They'll act as though they can't find a suitable house and continue to guilt trip every time you ask them to move out. No way. You should not agree to this. You'll be losing money because you shouldn't make them pay the full rental price because family. They seriously said they want to retire there. I would change the locks. Please, OP, do this and have someone keeping a lookout 24/7 as they might try to sneak in. No, 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 no. Not the asshole. Do not do this. Don't fall for the because family needs it BS. This isn't family in need of your space. This is running a con to get into your space. They can find plenty of spaces. Hell, take a cruise for 6 months. If they need help, you can help find them a temporary space for 6 months. In fact, why not meet them with a list of a few places they can look at? I know they won't look, but it sends the right message. They just showed you who they are. They are sneaky, manipulative, only care about what they want, and are willing to try and guilt trip you to give it to them. Nothing in this says that they are loving and want what is best for you. What do they even mean, figure things out? It sounds like they don't have a plan and are just expecting to move in and stay forever. Once they've established residency, you can't just evict them. You need to go through a process. Since your husband can't say no now, do you really expect he'll be able to say no later? There is no upside for you in this. There is only grief and pain. I wouldn't do this at all, but if forced to, I would have them on a lease. That way you can evict them once it ends. If they get in there without a set end date, it will go much worse for you. I am sorry your husband doesn't understand that his parents are using you both. Good luck. Oh yeah, after that shit show that was the further details and ways that the in-law has intruded on your life, do not let her in that place. Oh my god. She sent mixed nuts to your dad who has a deathly allergy to them? That's the one that stuck out to me the most, but everything else there was god-awful too. She sounds like an absolutely horrendous person to have to spend any amount of time around. Oh my god. And now you have this absolute gem that is so rare in this day and age for people your age to have. A holiday house by the beach that you make money off of, and you're just gonna let them take that from you and just control your life? No way! No! I already hated your mother-in-law from all the extra information you gave. Don't give me even more reason to hate her, please. And now, onto the update. I'll give a quick update while I wait for the kids to get home from school and answer a few questions that I saw pop up. We co-own the beach house. We bought it in 2020 when interest rates were super low, before houses skyrocketed. The in-laws have helped us with projects and pay for a few things, but so do my parents. So we've never thought of their contribution as anything but help from parents. They had their annual Old Farts Christmas party, their words not mine, this past December, and had the place for a week free of charge for them and all their guests. So they definitely have gotten plenty use of it. We had a come to Jesus moment yesterday, and I was the asshole to my husband. I told him I was done, and I wasn't even entertaining them staying there, as it's our business, and this is bad business. I basically told him that I was over his mum, and it was at the point that I'm about to peace out, because I can't handle her shit anymore. Previous to this, I was no contact with her, and would entertain them when they'd come to visit. They never stayed at our house as we live relatively close to them. He still has no clue if they are truly selling their house, if they're upside on bills, or if they're just assholes, but I honestly don't care. My parents are immigrants and own a restaurant and have worked their asses off to create a fantastic life for my siblings and I. They also taught us the value of money and working hard for the things we have. The vacation home was bought cheap, but 90% of the renovations were done by me during my free time. Renovations are my true love. Nursing pays the bills. I love it too, but it doesn't fill the creative cup. I told him he'd lose the house to his parents over my dead body, and if he feels the need to financially set them up, he can do so with the extra money that he earns from picking up shifts, also a nurse. Basically, I told him their failure was not an emergency on my part. They've always kept up with the Joneses and spent exorbitantly, so they might be broke, and again, I don't care. I have barely tolerated his mum for the past few years. I'll be cordial because I was raised well, but I'm over tolerating their nonsense. I will say, he does see all this crap she pulls, but he was raised that mum knows best. He's Puerto Rican, so this is partially cultural. But I'm done. I worked yesterday and busted my ass, and then drove the kids to the beach house last night and picked up dinner, and we are there, and I just thought, fuck no! So time will tell, but he called his parents and on speakerphone told them they couldn't stay, but the offer to condo hunt is still open, but he needs to know the price range and all that jazz. His mum cried, and I flipped the phone off. So as of this moment, it's not happening. I also told him if it's a problem, he can revoke his claim to the deed to the beach house, and I'll cover the expenses and manage it myself, 'cause mama don't play. And now onto the final update. In-laws did sell their house. They made little to no money, as apparently they took out a cash-out refinance a few years ago, so they had no down payment for a smaller place. They are now renting an apartment, as I really refused to help them financially. We did help them move their crap into the new place, so they didn't have to pay for movers. Basically, they were trying to live rent-free. My husband has barely spoken to them. The light bulb truly went off with all of this, so they suck. I knew. It seems he finally does too. But they're not in the beach house, and they won't be staying there anytime soon because I still don't trust them. In the comments, Hung White Boy 25 says, "Man, I'm praying we don't get an update in a few weeks with the caption, 'I visited the beach house and my husband's parents were living there. Husband is begging me to understand.' But you know it's coming. 'Cause mama don't play, I 100% believe her. If that happens, she'll have them evicted and he'll be served divorce papers. The more this story went on, the more I grew to adore this woman. At first I read, we co-own the beach house as being in-laws and OP/husband, but the in-laws don't have an ownership stake in the beach house, right? I think you're right. We refers to OP and her husband. At least, I really hope so. The wording is definitely confusing. I can't imagine being so entitled that I would sell my house and have no contingency plans because I expected to live rent-free on someone's property, regardless of them being my kid. Especially with them being my kid. I know part of this is cultural, but that doesn't excuse being manipulative and vile to your own child's family and livelihood. The cultural part I get to some extent, but if there is merely a cultural expectation that your offspring will help you out, you don't hide your needs in this way. These parents could have said 6 months ago, "Yo, we're thinking of doing this, and we'd like to reserve the beach house for an interim time while we figure out the next steps." Just because you believe you can count on your kids to let you move in doesn't mean it's okay to plan on doing so without telling them, especially if the place you're planning to occupy is both their vacation home and a source of income for them. That's just emotional blackmail. Wait until it's too late for anything else, and then make it the kids' problem. OP should have made these boundaries years ago. Yep, good on you, OP. I wouldn't be surprised if a divorce happens in the future. I'm obviously not praying for one to happen, like hoping it happens, but this guy does sound spineless, and it took you whipping him into place to get him to actually understand the gravity of the situation. So sad that it took them moving out and then being like, "Oh yeah, we actually didn't have a plan. We don't have any money, by the way, either," for, for him to get it. What is going on in his head? I want to open it up and see what he was thinking, because that was insane, what he almost let happen. And props to you, OP. Mama don't play. I believe you. I 100% believe you now. Our next post is by user GeneralNothing5798, titled, Am I the asshole for not wishing my mum a happy birthday and then not letting her come to our house? I, 25 male, have a wife, 24 female. For the sake of the story, let's call her Amelia. Amelia and I got married 2 years ago, coming up to 3 years in June. We've recently just had our first baby, a beautiful baby girl. My mum never was a huge fan of my wife for reasons I will never know, but I don't care, as I love Amelia so much, and I've had to defend her against my mum multiple times. My wife's labor lasted much longer than we expected. She started on Thursday evening and delivered our baby on Monday during the very early hours of the morning. As you can imagine, it was a long process, and she was exhausted, and so was I, as I wasn't sleeping unless she was asleep. My mum's birthday was on the Saturday, and she had a whole party planned out. Amelia at this point was in awful pain very consistently, meaning I was constantly by her side doing whatever she needed me to do, meaning that the Friday night we got no sleep. So when Saturday came around, we were both fighting the sleep and could barely stay awake. Because of this, I just completely forgot that it was my mum's birthday, as I didn't really look much at my phone, and if I did, it would be for entertainment for my wife and I together. We both agreed beforehand that when the time came, we would send the initial text that the baby was coming, but that would be it, and we wouldn't respond to any other text until after. Well, my baby girl was finally born, and we announced it to our family. Then I got to replying to my messages from the past few days, and that's when I saw my mum text about it being her birthday, and she sent a few more after, expressing her anger for me not getting in contact. So I called her up apologizing, but explaining that I genuinely forgot and it wasn't intentional. She went on to blame my wife by saying she purposely went into labor right around her birthday in order to steal the spotlight from her son, which I found really weird to say. From this comment alone, I got annoyed and just told her to leave me and my wife alone and that she isn't welcome at our house for the next few days. She can wait until she's over her fit to see her granddaughter. My whole family's been calling me an asshole and saying that I'm a bad son for not remembering my mum's birthday, but I'm an even worse son for not letting her meet her grandbaby. It's annoying because all we want to do is enjoy our new baby together, just the two of us, without anyone being a bother. So, am I the asshole? In the comments, someone asks, "Is this the first time your mum has had an issue with your wife?" And OP says, "No, it's not. She tried to convince me not to marry my wife by bringing up her old Instagram with pictures of my wife and her ex-boyfriend. The thing is, she's ruined every relationship she's ever been in, and that's why. She's always been toxic to my wife, and it's not something that I can put up with. I've pulled her up on it, and she denies it. Why haven't you called her out on it before?" OP says, "I have, but she said something along the lines of, 'I'm your mother, you don't get to question me,' and went off. We slightly cut contact after that, but not enough apparently." More about mum and OP's siblings. OP says, "She gave birth 7 times. I don't know, she claims that she was able to go into labor whenever she really tried to do so, and accuses my wife of doing the same. But my wife was overdue anyway, so naturally, for all the time she was overdue, we were trying to start her labor, but never meant for it to fall on my mother's birthday weekend. She lost custody of 4 of my siblings. I don't know them, but no, they are both still teenagers and don't really understand anyone's side other than my mum's, because I don't know what she told my sisters. She's single, old, and lonely, and I'm starting to understand why." Pinebox Waiting says, "Not the asshole. It's cute that your mum thinks that your wife is talented enough to go into labor on command. It's bizarre that you are the only person in your family who realizes the world doesn't revolve around your mum. Keep to your boundaries, daddy, and congratulations." OP says, "I mean, I know my wife's amazing and all, but she isn't that talented to go into labor on command. But thank you so much. She sounds so super lucky to have such a loving man." OP says, "I'm blessed she puts up with me, lol." Not the asshole. Your mum should have understood when you told her that you were with your wife in labor, not been screeching and accusing. Tell or message your mum that after how she stupidly insulted your wife, specify that she accused your wife of choosing to go into labor to damage your mum's birthday party. You will need an apology from her to your wife in person and on social media. And CC that request to all the family. OP says, I love your attitude towards this situation. The public apology on socials, lol. Or you can apologize to her publicly. I'm sorry that I forgot to text you happy birthday while we were at the hospital and my wife was in active labor. I'm so sorry that it wasn't the first thing on my mind when our baby finally arrived. I'm sorry that my forgetfulness caused you to have to call and text me multiple times to remind me about your adult birthday as we were in the hospital, and that you had to suggest your own make-up birthday present. I'm sorry that your own extreme reaction has made it so that I'm not comfortable with you being around my child yet. That was a banger of a response. I would post that on Facebook immediately and clap her down, OP. Not the arsehole for not wishing your mum a happy birthday and then not letting her come to your house. Who does she think she is for doing that to you? That is absolutely insane. I can see why she's sad, old, and miserable. At this rate, she's not going to have anyone visiting her at the nursing home, as we've seen multiple times over. It's so sad that you gave her a heads up that the baby was coming, she knew that, and yet there was no mention of like, oh my god, let me know when the baby's coming. It's my birthday, but it's fine. I just want to know about the baby. You guys do your thing. I've been a parent 7 times already, so I understand. No, everything is just about me. How dare you upset me? I removed half my brain with a lobotomy, and that's how I'm able to have kids on command. I hope you get that apology, OP. And now, on to the update. Hi. Firstly, I wanted to say thank you to everyone for your advice, and it really made me realize how serious this situation is. I took the advice and decided to post an Instagram and Facebook post because my mum got a chance too. In the post, I mentioned what my wife went through and purposely left in that she would never want to forcefully go through that, just to make it clear to my mum and family what the truth is. We announced that while we soak up our newborn, that uninvited guests won't be allowed into our home, so please respect our privacy as we take time as a new family. This worked, and I got a lot of friends and even some family commenting their congrats to us. My mum has since asked when she can see her granddaughter, and we've just said that she will see her when she fixes her attitude towards my wife, as my baby won't grow up to see her mother treated like she is nothing. Also, the fact that my wife never deserved to be hated in the first place. We are going no contact for now, and are as happy as we could ever be with our new baby girl. About my family, we've sent them a message with the full story, and now they feel like really awful about everything. Originally, my mum told them that my wife got induced and that she took some medicine to slow down the labor. I don't even think that medication exists, because apparently that's what I said on the phone, which is obviously not the truth, and my mum started claiming that I did that to compete with her. My sisters are only young and didn't question my mum, but now have been nothing but supportive. That being said though, I still have my guard up for now, just in case. Thank you again for your advice and all of your kind words to my wife and I. We really appreciate it. In the comments, BlueBeing22 says, you have one job right now, and that is taking care of your new little family in whatever way you need to. One of the ways includes keeping toxicity away from your wife, your baby, and yourself. Really, that's all. Not the asshole, and congratulations. OP says, I agree. Thank you. Lol, what? Your wife got induced and then took something else to slow the pregnancy down? That doesn't even make sense to take 2 medicines that work completely against each other to have a 3-day-long labor, all to show up your mother's birthday. There is no one special enough in the world that I would do that for, especially not to spite someone. You are all lucky your daughter wasn't born on her birthday. That'll be a mess. If you have preeclampsia, they give you magnesium, which is a muscle relaxer, and then they induce you. That is exactly why I had a 3-day labor. But you're correct, there is no one in the world who would do that purely out of spite. And now onto the final updates, titled, I forgot to text my mum happy birthday when my wife was in labor. 1 year update. Hi. So I'm the guy whose mum claimed that my wife went into labor on purpose near my mum's birthday so that my wife could steal the spotlight. I forgot to text my mum happy birthday due to my wife being in active labor and being sleep deprived. We decided to go no contact after our baby girl was born. We only planned to do that for a little bit. However, it has been a whole year. My daughter turned 1 a few days ago, and it's just been the best year of my whole life. She's just perfect. However, my mum never stopped with her attitude she was giving us, meaning she still has not met her grandkid. It's been a whole year, and she still claims my wife went into labor on purpose. My siblings that I do have contact with have met her and do adore their niece. My mum still follows me on Facebook. I don't have her blocked on there, but she's definitely upset that she hasn't met the baby yet. Her own fault. Thank you again for all the love and support. It really was much appreciated. I just can't believe for a second that it's been a year. In the comments, Eccentrica Galumbit says, "Wow, what a narcissist. I'd be delighted if my daughter had a kid the same day as my birthday when she's older. I think it would be awesome to share a birthday with a grandkid. Stay strong, Dad. Hopefully she learns the error of her ways before it's too late. If not, you don't need that kind of negativity in your kid's life." My dad was thrilled when my sister-in-law went into labor on his birthday, unexpectedly early. I hope to never be your mum to my son when he's an adult. Congrats on the first best year of your life, and many more to come. Being able to go no contact like this and stick to it for a whole year is a pretty good indicator that the chain of narcissism has been broken. This mother is one of those parents who would wonder why their children will never see them anymore. What a narcissistic and bonkers mess of a person. I mean, seriously, how does one think you can go into labor on purpose? Like, what the hell? If my child had a kid on the same day as my birthday, I would be so happy and delighted. Best to stay no contact with her. My mother, who I limited contact with since my runaway, was very pleased when my oldest shared the same birthday as her. I had to remind my mother that her birthday on the official record is incorrect, because back then people barely submitted this information to the government immediately after birth. No, hospitals were rare and too expensive back then. But for OP's mother, I guess that having the granddaughter birthed by the woman she dislikes is enough for her to make it a big deal. It's good that OP will stay no contact with her. My great-grandfather decided that it was time for the eldest to go to school and found out he'd need birth certificates, so he registered 4 girls on the same day. We're not even sure the years he picked are right. She'd be around 5 and she was born in lambing season and... That's insane! My mum once met an elderly man who said he had 2 birthdays, his actual one and his official one. Dad had set off from their farm to register the birth, bumped into some friends who wanted to help him wet the baby's head, so they went to the pub. A few months later, his wife brings up something about the registration, and he realizes he celebrated so much that he didn't do it. Couldn't backdate to the actual birth at that point, so the official date was stuck being weeks out. Grace Stranger Than You says, "Just go ask all the women who are over 40 weeks pregnant why they haven't chosen to go into labor yet. Once they beat your ass, you'll probably learn that no, you can't just start labor whenever you feel like it." If women could choose their labor, my mother would have yeeted me out of her womb the first time the doc had, via manipulation, turned me around so that I wouldn't be a breech birth, not the 3rd. Apparently I was very comfortable in there and still had 10 days on the lease. Way to go on OP for protecting his own family by actions. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!